Your energy surrounds me, suffocates me, and I can't help but feel both paralyzed and exhilarated. The thought of speaking seems insignificant in the face of your raw power. There's something so magnetic about your energy that I find myself unable to speak, captivated by the way it shifts the air and holds me in a trance of awe. In the presence of such power, my voice feels inadequate. The intensity of your energy wraps itself around me, leaving me with nothing but silence as the only way to respect what you bring to the space. I could sit in your presence for hours and never utter a word, because there's a depth to your energy that fills the room in ways words can't. It's too big, too vast for anything I could say to make a mark. The pull of your energy is so strong that it feels like my voice is being pulled away, swallowed by the force of what you carry. Every word I think to speak gets lost in the magnitude of your presence. Your energy is both a comfort and a challenge, wrapping around me in waves that leave me breathless, uncertain, and almost paralyzed by the force of what I'm feeling. It's like trying to speak in a room full of noise and not being able to hear my own thoughts. Your energy drowns everything else out, leaving me with nothing but a deep respect for what you bring to every moment. When you're around, I'm always caught between wanting to express myself and being too afraid to speak up. It's like your energy humbles me in ways that silence seems the only fitting response. There's a quiet intensity to your presence that shakes me to the core. Every word I think to say feels like it would fall short, leaving me paralyzed by the sheer weight of what you carry. Your energy moves through me like a river, sweeping everything in its path and leaving me speechless in awe of the depth of what you bring to the table. When I try to speak, I can feel your energy flooding the space, reminding me that no matter how hard I try, my words will never be as powerful as the force of what you're giving off. It's almost as if your energy creates a world of its own, and I am just a visitor in it, unsure of how to contribute to something so vast and magnificent. The force of your presence is so overpowering that I find myself speechless, afraid that whatever I say will fall short of capturing even a fraction of the power you hold. Every time I'm in your presence, I find myself standing at the edge of a cliff, knowing that speaking could change everything. Your energy demands respect and attention, leaving me frozen in place. Your energy pulses through the air like an unseen force, filling the space with something that cannot be put into words. And yet, I can't help but be in awe of it, afraid to disrupt the magic with my own voice. Being around you feels like standing in the eye of a hurricane, where everything is moving, changing, and shifting, and yet I am still terrified to move or speak in fear of disturbing the calm center you create. There's an overwhelming energy in the room when you speak. It leaves me breathless and unsure of how to respond, as if everything I say might be overshadowed by the force of your presence. It's like your energy is a magnetic field, pulling at my every thought, drawing them closer until I'm too afraid to speak out of fear that nothing I say can match the intensity of your pull. Your energy vibrates in the air, making everything feel alive. And I can't help but wonder if I'll ever have the courage to express myself in the presence of something so immense and powerful. There's a beauty in the way your energy humbles me. Every time I open my mouth, I find myself hesitating, unsure if I can ever say anything that could possibly match what you bring to the room. I've never encountered anything like your energy before. It's so intense that even the thought of speaking feels like an intrusion, and I'm left wondering if silence is the only way to honor what you bring. The force of your presence presses against me, making every word I think of seem small and insignificant. I can't help but feel like a bystander in the face of such immense energy. There's a gentle yet unyielding power in your energy, and I find myself mesmerized by it, speechless in awe of the way it moves through the space, leaving everything else in its wake. The energy that radiates from you is so deep and consuming that every thought I have is overshadowed by it, making it feel impossible to speak in the face of something so powerful. In your presence, I'm reminded of how small my thoughts can feel. Your energy carries such weight that speaking seems like a futile attempt to capture something that can't be contained by words. Every time I try to form words, your energy interrupts, reminding me that silence is the only way to truly feel the depth of what you are. It's both terrifying and beautiful. The power that radiates from you is so consuming that it's almost like a storm, shaking everything in its path, leaving me wondering if I can even hold on to my thoughts when I'm in your presence. Every word I want to speak feels so insignificant when faced with the overwhelming intensity of your energy. It's like a magnetic pull that keeps me silent, trapped in awe of what you represent. There's something almost supernatural about the way your energy invades a space. It's both beautiful and intimidating, and in its wake, I find myself questioning if I'm worthy of speaking anything that could possibly match your power. The energy you exude is so deep and vast that it seems to wrap itself around my mind, leaving me breathless and unsure of what words could even begin to do it justice. In your presence, my thoughts become a tangled mess because the intensity of your energy overwhelms everything else. It's as if the very air is too heavy to speak through. I feel like I'm walking on the edge of a cliff every time I try to speak around you, afraid that my words will crumble into nothingness in the face of your intense, almost otherworldly presence. Your energy stirs something inside me that I can't even explain. It's both thrilling and terrifying at once, and it makes me question if I can ever express how deeply it affects me. It's like being caught in the gravitational pull of your soul. No matter how hard I try, I can't escape the magnetic force of your energy. It leaves me paralyzed in awe, afraid to disturb the silence with a single word. Every time I think about speaking, your energy fills the room like a tidal wave, reminding me of just how small my thoughts are in comparison to the force of your presence. I find myself lost in your energy, swept away by its intensity, and in that moment, the only thing I can do is hold my breath, afraid that my voice will shatter the fragile connection. It's like standing in front of a storm and being too afraid to move. Your energy is so overwhelming, so potent, that it leaves me with a sense of awe that silences everything else within me. The space between us is charged with such intensity that it feels almost impossible to speak, as if the energy between us is speaking louder than any words could. There's an unspoken power in the way your energy fills the room. It's like it vibrates in my chest, making every word I think to say feel too small to even utter. The feeling of being near you is so consuming that I find myself holding my breath, unsure if I'll be able to form the words that could ever convey the depth of what I'm feeling in this moment. I can feel the weight of your energy pressing against me, and every time I open my mouth, I'm terrified that whatever I say will be insignificant in comparison to the force you carry with you. When you're around, my thoughts seem to dissipate, lost in the vastness of your energy. It's both terrifying and beautiful, and I find myself speechless in awe of the force you are. It feels like your energy surrounds me, wrapping me in a cocoon of fear and admiration, where I can't help but question if I'll ever have the courage to speak in the presence of something so powerful. There's a magnetic force that pulses from you, and every time I try to speak, it's like the words get caught in my throat, trapped by the sheer magnitude of your presence. In the silence between us, I find myself drawn to the overwhelming energy you carry. It's like a flame that flickers just beyond reach, and I'm too terrified to get too close for fear of being consumed. I can feel the energy shift when you enter a room, and suddenly nothing I have to say seems important. It's as if your presence demands attention, and I can't help but let my words slip away. Your energy fills the room like an ocean, sweeping away my thoughts and leaving me adrift in the current of your power. It's both beautiful and terrifying, and I find myself holding on to silence for dear life. I'm caught between the desire to speak and the fear that my words will be swallowed by the intensity of your presence. It's like trying to shout into the wind and knowing it won't be heard. The force of your energy makes me question whether anything I could say would ever be able to match the depth of what you radiate. It's almost too much for words to grasp. There's a subtle danger in being near you, a quiet intensity that leaves me unsure of my own thoughts. Every time I open my mouth, I wonder if I'm strong enough to channel what I feel without being overwhelmed. The stillness between us is charged with something unspoken. It's like your energy is louder than any words could ever be, and I'm too terrified to disrupt the silence with anything less than something profound.